Jenna and her husband Tom have been fighting a lot due to their difficult financial situation. Life has gotten increasingly more expensive for them because of the soaring inflation and rising interest rates. Naturally, Jenna's worried because the number one reason for divorce is money, and she can't stop thinking that if they don't do something to fix their finances soon, then their marriage won't last and their kids won't have the life they deserve. However, Jenna, being strong-willed and determined, refuses to give up and goes on a hunt for simple ways to live below their means. Since Jenna's pressed for time, she's looking for tips that she can implement quickly and easily. She scours through the internet with searches like frugal living tips, ultimate frugal living tips, habits of frugal people that save money, and frugal living tips that help live below your means. She knows that all the blogs and YouTube videos she searched through had one major element in common whenever it comes to living below your means. It was making sure that you have a budget. So, Jenna decided to specify her search further and found a simple 3-step process to live below your means. The first and obvious step was to make sure to create a budget. But while many articles or videos will tell you the importance of a budget, not many will tell you how to make one. In many of the resources that Jenna found, they said to make sure to create an organized budget. This meant not just throwing all of your expenses in one category and all of your income in another, but rather to make sure that each expense is divided into its own category and any income divided into its own category. Even though the budget was beautifully organized, she had more work to do. The same resource said that it's important to track your expenses for every 6 months in the past to see how your expenses and income vary from month to month. Jenna then took the time to search through her and Tom's purchases through the last 6 months, and she was shocked at what she saw. She realized that almost every single expense that they had increased from 6 months ago to today. This profound realization had ended up allowing Jenna to perfectly segue to step 2, which was to find ways to lower expenses. With her budget created for the last 6 months and understanding where all of her expenses were going, she was determined to find ways to lower her expenses so that they could live well below their means. The first important piece of info that she encountered was to make sure that her budget was divided properly. The most common and effective way to split a budget is the 50-20-30 rule. This rule states that 50% of your income should be divided into basic living expenses, such as bills, groceries, internet, and so forth. Then, 20% of your income should be placed into paying off debts like student loans, credit cards, mortgages, and leases. Finally, 30% of your income should be used for personal purchases like tools for hobbies, video games, jewelry, and savings. When Jenna looked through her budget, she realized that they were far off from maintaining this rule. In fact, 6 months ago, they were very close to the 50-20-30 rule, but as of her most recent budget, they were more like 65, 15, and 30. Yes, they were actually spending more than their budget allowed due to the increase in living. Fortunately, Jenna brought the budget back to 100% by cutting back on expenses they had from groceries, lowering the car usage, and buying any items that she could secondhand. They also cut back on their personal purchases, so it would be significantly easier to live below their means. As Jenna was about to begin with step 3, she ended up getting a call from her sister Emily, who was super excited with big news. Emily told Jenna that she had just finished getting all the loans approved for their new catering business, and that she was going to start running from her home. But Emily was worried about finding staff to help her with the new business. So, she asked Jenna if she wanted to help a few times a week with some really easy food prep for food, dishwashing, and deliveries. At that time, Jenna didn't have a job because she was a busy stay-at-home mom, but the opportunity with her sister would allow her to work from home from her sister's home, meaning that she could make money and watch the kids at the same time. Funny enough, Jenna unknowingly initiated step 3, which was to increase their income. So, Jenna happily took the time to work 2 times a week, which made their living situation much better. Although Jenna was keen on not letting herself get carried away with her new income, so she could avoid jeopardizing her marriage and their beautiful children's financial future. So, Jenna disciplined herself and made sure that 30% of what she made was placed into a savings account, which was shared with Tom so as to save up for more important things. That is, retirement, a new home, and even an emergency fund, college fund, as well as personal funds. After a year had passed of Jenna implementing the 3 simple ways to live below their means, she managed to keep their marriage thriving by enjoying a trip to Greece for their 8-year anniversary. She became a partner with her sister for the catering business, and they're thinking about buying a new and much bigger home, so that way their kids could be comfortable and happy. If you want to learn more about how to live below your means, then be sure to click on this video right here.